there's a term called agentic that is being tossed around a lot in the AI world, which is the biggest promise. Everything in the future we believe is going to be agentic. So my own software is coded in a way to make it agentic friendly. And that's essentially having an agent, which is an AI human. Think of an AI imitating a human. You would send a first draft, so you'd have an agent that would do the first draft. Then that agent would be checked by a proofing agent, and that agent's trained only on proofing. It doesn't do anything else but know how to proof things. Then it goes to an editor agent that does nothing but edit. So it knows all the editing techniques and everything. So we have an AI coming out this week called Improver that does the editing part of this. So, it's pretty nascent. This is a very early kind of thing in AI, but eventually it will go through a series of 5, 10, 15 agents and then output the final. And that will get you as close to human capabilities as possible. And then when you put the speed on top of it, it's just incomparable. I think you still need, and this is what I've said from day one, I've created tools I hope that will empower copywriters because as somebody said, a famous quote, someone pretty famous in the world, who shall go unnamed, said yesterday, AI will not replace humans, but humans that know AI will replace other humans. Absolutely true. So that is the way to look at it. Same thing with copywriters. If you know AI, you will completely obliterate your competition because you will have the best of both worlds. And marketers, that goes for marketers as well. So you do need to know this stuff.
If you're enjoying the show, just a quick reminder to press the like button, subscribe to this channel for more useful monetization tips, and turn on notifications so you don't miss all of the great tips coming up in future episodes. And thank you for sharing this episode with your friends and colleagues. I really, really appreciate it. I think people's kind of understanding of AI is really, ChatGPT and those types of tools, and therefore are completely unaware of the level of sophistication that guys like you have put into creating really high level tools. I've bought probably everything you've ever put out there and used it. I haven't used the latest version of your AI tool. My brother John, who hit me up and he was like, holy moly. Have you seen the prompts that John Benson is using? And I was like, no. And he sent me over examples of some of the prompts there. And the first thing that kind of came to mind as I was reading these prompts were only a very, very high level copywriter would create that kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of the difference between like a tool like yours. It's Benson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the tool is called Benson, and like ChatGPT. There's a lot of guys that go to ChatGPT and kind of put in some silly prompts and then just don't feel like AI works for them at all, not understanding that a tool that's designed by an elite level copywriter to produce elite level copy, there's a difference between night and day there. Yeah. And still at the same time, dude, you and I was blessed to work with you on, a couple of projects over the years. You wrote a webinar for us that, I just was like, God, this thing is it was like a psychological minefield of persuasion from like top to bottom. Like every single sentence had like multiple triggers in it. Myself and Sam Markowitz were working together at the time. We were like looking at your copy going, God, like this guy, crammed so much into each like sentence, so many sales triggers, so many tactics and strategies into a single sentence and a single paragraph. And as I think of that copy, which is, one of, countless pieces of brilliant copy that you've produced, it's kind of unrealistic to think that a tool could get to that level. Where do you see the future of this being? Like we are at Benson's level today. Where is Benson 3 years from now? Where is Benson 5 years from now? Like, where do you think this whole thing is going? Is it really the death of the copywriter, 5 years from now, or where do you think it's going to be?
Well, first of all, thank you. Second of all, right now, Benson is able to produce copy where basically every sentence, save a few, have the same kind of intense persuasion elements. But I want to come back to this because this is something I've never shied away from talking about. It's right now in the current landscape of AI, we're using multiple different LLMs, which is like, Anthropic, Grok, Gemini, OpenAI, to produce this copy. So it's not just one. But let's take OpenAI, ChatGPT. Let's just take that. In that world, if you're using that LLM, there are inherent drawbacks to every little aspect of a piece of copy. Like if you take a VSL, you could divide it into 10 sections: a lead, a story, a problem, a solution, offer, introduction, basic big chunks of copy, right? Every line of the copy ideally is going to move the reader forward, is going to move the reader to something that is either a pain point or a benefit, and preferably it's going to mix these up inside of this, so you're not going to have one long strain of nothing but positivity. You're going to mix it up with, this not only helps you do this will help you avoid X, Y, Z, because you're talking to both sides of the brain in a sense. If you're going into cognition and understanding, essentially you've got two hemispheres and they process information a little bit differently. So you don't want to just speak to one. You don't want to speak to the visualization center all the time. You want to also speak to the amygdala, so to say. You want to get to the fear stuff in the brain. If you don't mix this up and have that happen, it's the persuasion is just not going to be as intense. So that's how we've trained Benson to understand. I'll take a sales letter lead. Let's just take a lead because they're the hardest things to write for sure. So if you have a lead that has all of those elements in it, and we're getting those elements from looking at the top 100 leads of all time currently and in the past, what made them great? How did they do that? And we're checking this on a line per line basis. The AI is our AI at least is getting that right about 90% of the time. So the other 10% of the time is going in to say, oh, maybe the AI went a little vague here. Like it might say, this is going to help you, X, Y, Z, and X, Y, Z is dimensionalized right on the money. And then says, oh, and you'll feel better too. And that's not dimensional enough maybe for you. So you can highlight that, at least in Benson, and say, make that more dimensional. And then you can forget about those nasty aches and pains when you wake up in the morning. So that's that. So what I just walked through is a real life example of what you would really, really do inside the application. But you see where that comes down to. That still comes down to the user being able to know it. So we had to develop a tool that would get you 90% there, that would get you conversions that are just almost as good as they could be if you had a professional copywriter going in through and editing it. But still, we think that the best version of this is to have, for now, is to have professional copywriters do this until the agentic world catches up to what we're doing and we're able to train agents that are as capable as human copywriters to go through and edit those lines. Like it will go through and look at those lines, and the entire job of it is to say, okay, what do I need to leave alone? What can I make more dimensional? What can I make more scary? What can I make more benefit rich? Whatever the case may be, right? And that's the future. That's where we're going. And it's not 5 years from now. It's 5 months from now. It's moving at the speed of light. It's super fast. And AI is crazy. And that's assuming that GPT-5, which is going to be I say GPT-5, it could be Elon's got his own AI coming out, XAI, and don't have any idea what that's going to do. Don't have any idea what that's going to be like, but that could come out, or the new release of Gemini could come out, or whatever, the newest AI could come out and go, wow, this is even better. And Benson would just tag into that. So we would just pull that into, but our copywriters are still looking at the background. So what your brother found, the cool thing is Benson's, the trademark is promptless AI. We were the first ones to actually have it trademarked. So it's like, because we're entirely promptless. The user doesn't have to know any of those complicated prompts. It's like, because that's the problem. You see, you either have to be a copywriter as prompts or a copywriter of copy. So I didn't want to just, take the user out of the frying pan and put them in the fire. Want to give them a tool that could do that. But ideally, if you're a copywriter or a marketer, and so we teach you copy concepts in our coaching calls, you can apply those concepts to say, oh, I want to make this a little bit more dynamic, because I think the human element is still going to play a part in this until AI gets so sophisticated that it's going to find things that even the best human copywriter wouldn't do. At that point, it's going to be, who would you rather manage your copy? I think people will for years and years still have a warm, fuzzy feeling if a pro copywriter or a pro marketer, at the very minute least, is the guy or girl looking over everything to making sure that everything is okay. and also just human input, just being able to yeah, I don't think the goal is to replace that. The goal is to augment that. And
Yeah.
if you augment it, which we've already done, but you're talking about how soon is it going to be? It's much sooner than you think. And that's true even if GPT-5 gets stalled. That's true because it's just the nature of the business.
So if you enjoyed this clip and you'd like to benefit from more monetization secrets, go and register now for Monetization Daily. You can go to monetizationresearch.com to get it. It is a free newsletter that is absolutely awesome. It is delivered to your email inbox and it contains lots of great monetization tips, tactics, and strategies that you will love. Again, head on over to monetizationresearch.com to get it now.